As part of the ongoing effort to promote the Kickstarter for my sci-fi comic Babylon Rocker, I've decided to dedicate a few short videos to talking about the things that influenced and inspired me to make it in the first place. With that out of the way, Otaku of the world rejoice, for my first influence was a little anime series from 1998 called Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star is the story of Gene Starwind, who's always wanted to go to space and have adventures there, but after being traumatized by watching the death of his father at the hands of space pirates, he spent most of his life dirtside on the backwater outpost of Sentinel-3, yearning to go to space, but afraid to do so because of the trauma of his father's death and because space travel literally makes him sick. But at last, one day, fate intervenes when Gene and Jim Hawking, his child prodigy business partner, get mixed up in the affairs of the infamous outlaw Hot Ice Hilda. A series of events involving mecha ninjas and spell-slinging space pirates cause Gene to finally travel to the stars after all, in possession of a swanky new ship and its bio-android navigational interface Melfina, both of which were designed for a singular purpose: to discover the location of the galactic ley line, supposedly the source of all power, treasure, and knowledge in the universe. Anyone familiar with anime television in the 90s or early 2000s will recognize at least the name Outlaw Star, as it made a regular appearance on both the famous Toonami block on Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. If you're a fan of old-school cell animation and you like relatively straightforward space adventures with a crew of ragtag misfits, I'd actually recommend giving it a watch. The English dub is pretty good, as 90s dubs go, for those of you who like to watch your television rather than read it. And there's even a couple of channels on YouTube where you can still watch complete episodes of the series. Mind you, the series itself is nothing spectacular as far as stories go, and in fact took a lot of negative criticism when it first came out. Not because the show itself is bad, but mostly because it came out right around the same time as two similar sci-fi adventure series, Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, and was consequently compared unfavorably to both. Outlaw Star has two influences on Babylon Rocker, one minor, one major. The minor one is the fact that the titular ship Babylon Rocker has arms. Yes, in Outlaw Star, spaceships, including our hero's own vessel, the XGP-15A, have what are called grappler arms. And combat in this anime literally involves said arms wielding everything from giant pistols to melee weapons. It's just as fun as it sounds, provided that you recognize that Outlaw Star is very much a soft science fiction story and you don't think too hard about it. The Babylon Rocker's arms, meanwhile, have a more mundane function, as it was originally designed to operate in places like the rings of Saturn, where interstellar debris is actually close enough together that collision is a genuine risk. But Outlaw Star's biggest influence on Babylon Rocker is in terms of aesthetic and specifically the color palette. In a lot of science fiction these days, the aesthetic and colors are either muted and gritty or stark and sterile. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but I do kind of miss the bright and colorful science fiction of earlier years. And while not unknown, they're just not as common as they used to be. In that sense, I think Outlaw Star boasts possibly some of the brightest and most vibrant colors in science fiction that I've ever seen. Not just because the characters or ship designs are colorful, but it is the only series that I'm aware of where space itself is colorful. Instead of the usual black or midnight void, space in Outlaw Star is either dark blue or violet, laced with nebulae of green, crimson, and gold. I've no idea who is exactly responsible for these particular aesthetic choices, and after scouring Anime News Network, my best candidates are either art director Toshihisa Koyama or color designer Tomoko Kuroyanagi. Either way, long after I saw Outlaw Star on Toonami as a teenager, it was the images of space, particularly its colors, that always stayed with me more than anything else. Like I said, I've never seen another visual sci-fi story that does something like this, that makes everything so colorful, that makes space so colorful, making it look vibrant and exciting instead of the usual dark, menacing, empty void. Off the top of my head, I think Guardians of the Galaxy might be the only one that comes close, and even then only in specific scenes. A wise man once said that color is a choice, not an objective upgrade. Just as there are some things that you can only do in black and white comics, by the same token, there are some things you can only do in color comics. In my admittedly limited experience, the best thing that a color palette can do for a story is help establish the tone. Babylon Rocker is first and foremost a sci-fi adventure series. Yes, there are some serious moments, and more than one of the main characters has the occasional dark moment in their past, but above all else, I wanted to create a universe that is vibrant and full of life and excitement. The kind of universe that, hopefully, anyone reading the comic would actually want to visit. If we ever do manage to figure out interstellar travel, I believe that this is what the universe will be like. Sure, the colors probably won't be quite so saturated, but if we do ever find a way to escape the confines of the solar system, we will be entering an age that is truly indescribable. It'll be the kind of excitement that mankind hasn't experienced likely since the age of discovery back in the late 15th century. Except this will be on a truly exponential scale. Outlaw Star is an influence on Babylon Rocker because, like a lot of science fiction of the time, not just anime but live-action television as well, it conveys a certain wild wonder to the universe. The idea that we are going to make it to the stars, and once we get there, it's going to be the most wondrous, amazing thing ever. Thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen, please support the Kickstarter and help make this wild and colorful universe a reality. Thank you.